read this book? Read the book? Yeah.
Man, that thing's like 800 slides. He shared with me on
Other
Zoom.
people, yeah. Yeah. Share it every day. Yeah. So did you read the book? I'm like, "Did you read it?" And you told me you were going to put me in it as a magical wizard, and you didn't yet.
You're not a magical wizard yet?
He said, "I'm gonna be the principal of the school." I said, "All right, listen, I know that wrong."
I've never been a magical wizard before, but I'm excited to explore it.
Hey, Zeus. Wow. Good morning. That's my standard response.
You said the one that said, yeah.
Donnie, everybody said they were coming.
Wow.
Yes, the ones I did left messages.
We'll give it about like 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we'll just get cracking like it. Do you have anybody online, Torres?
We've got Lena online and Jesus Diaz online.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm glad you called in after school.
Yeah, but
Anytime you call during a school time and I see, and they were elementary,
You're like, oh,
I
no.
start checking, so I'm so glad you called when I have my kids.
Yeah, I told her because I have the same feeling when they're.
You gotta look at his eyes, shoes. Club C.
Telling you.
you.
And you know, listen, you know, I don't think I can pull it off.
My boy Jesus, he knows his shoes.
Oh, I bet. Hey, good morning. How are you? Come on in.
Good morning.
Yeah, where's Qatar?
Or there's the,
Right,
I
5
was
minutes.
trying to tell Alvin's
I
that
get
it's
six.
like I can use standards like where
Why didn't you go see it anywhere you want?
have to be like kind of like neutral shoes. And I said, well, the great shoes to get are like the Reebok Club C is a good one because it's like a classic shoe, low. You get it just all white.
Yeah.
And he looked at him and he goes, I can't wear this. I said, come on, man, those are great. They're comfortable.
Yeah, that is.
Remember, you can full bed in those. Unbelievable. You just can't go wrong.
There she is.
You need it.
Finally, Ms. Kazar's here. We can get started.
Hey, buddy. What do you got for me?
Basically say you online that people in middle people that you learn.
All right, so we're gonna get rolling. If we have 1 or 2 people pull in on 2 wheels here in a second, then we can we'll welcome with some open arms. All right, welcome everybody. Our January SAC meeting. We're officially in the second half of the year. Things are rocking and rolling. We have a fair bit of things that we're going to talk about today. Thank you, Ms. Torres. We'll go through the agenda in 1 sec, but we have, looks like Ms. Cartaya is here. Good morning. Mr. Bench, good morning. We also have Mr. Diaz, who's joining us via YouTube. Thank you, Ms. Diaz. Thank you, Torres is here. Blessed Kazar. Miss Blair, I'm sure will be here any moment, and Miss Gote. All right, perfect. Here we go. So, Miss Blessed, are you ready to run December's minutes? It should be pretty short. December was our half-year celebration.
Yes, I am.
All right, you're up.
Here we go. Good morning. Mr. Neves mentioned that our school scored a 60% reading at our level of proficiency, and our data ranks on the top of the learning community. We talked about math and mentioning that math was a little bit different. Students were not exposed to all the standards by the second fast. So scores were not as impressive as ELA, but we still scored 36% compared to the learning community. Mr. Mack mentioned that the students are doing excellent in science. Ms. Torres also mentioned that the kids were having or have been working very hard performing. Lately, club had performed, and the parents had the opportunity to perform with them as well. And embellishment also performed at Hunter Street Middle School. That's it.
Yeah, perfect. You know what? Listen, I already fumbled. I apologize, but we need to call the meeting to order. That was my fault.
I know what.
So. All right, so we're gonna kick this off. Can I get a motion to open the meeting?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I second. All right, so here we go. We're gonna roll, and then we'll jump right into approving the minutes. Does everybody feel like those minutes were accurately reflected our meeting that we had in December? All right, I motion to approve the minutes. Can I get a second? Great job. All right, thank you. All right, perfect. Listen, welcome. We are officially in the second half of the year. It's January. Man, I am going to talk a little bit about a couple things, but I want to talk about our data, where we're at, and I want to to kind of fly through it. I want to kind of give you the nuts and bolts of it. If you or anybody else wants to have like a very detailed discussion about, the intricacies of the middle of the year data, I would love to do that. But for just, I guess for simplicity purposes, I'm going to give you just an overview, okay? And I'll tell you, it's good news. So we are going to talk a little bit about two-way dual language program that we're going to bring to Endeavor next year. Super excited about this process. And the stakeholder survey. And if you are an existing parent, you know what I'm talking about, hopefully. And if you are new to our school, we'll introduce this, okay? All right, here we go. So we'll jump into data first. All right, there's a lot of numbers up here. Don't freak out, all right? All we really want to focus on right now is, so we talked about the FAST assessment, right? That we'll do at the end of the year, formerly FSA, right? We have the progress monitoring assessments that are in the FAST format. So we have progress monitoring assessment 1, or PM1, and PM2. So this was taken at the start of the school year. This was taken right here in the middle of the school year, right before we went up, right? Okay. What I want you to focus on is it's very aesthetically pleasing. So we just want to look at the growth we made from PM1 to PM2 in math, right? We want to look at the decrease. So if they're red, now when we talk about the formatting up here, red constitutes as like a level 1, and this is on the 5-point like old school FSA scale, right? Where a 1 is the lowest score that a student can achieve, and a 5 is the highest score that a student can achieve, right? And then this data, and I should say this data is representative of only 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And the reason I say that is because those are the students who are formally assessed by the state, right? So when we took our first FAST assessment in math, we were saying that in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, 224, so 73% of our students, right? Now this was taken back in, I don't know, when did we take FAST, the PM1? Yeah, August. So, I mean, I couldn't remember if it was released September, late August, but 73% of our kids were performing at a level 1. Now, remember, they're being assessed on content that hadn't really even been taught yet. So it's more of like a baseline, right? The second assessment, all right, we closed that gap from 73% to 100 to 45%. So it went from 224 students down to 139 students, right? And again, you're going to see that the difference between ELA and math is different. I'll explain why. Because even in the middle of the year, we're being assessed on, and I think there's a rationale behind this, although nobody can clearly explain it, but they're being assessed on still on content that hadn't even been taught yet, right? So it's okay. It's okay. The point is that we're bringing the kids who are below grade level, sometimes in cases in multiple years, right? So the number of level 1s and level 2s are now turning to, like, a level 3 is representative, or I'm sorry, green is representative of a level 3. So level 3, we know, is considered proficient by the state, and then blue is 4 and purple is 5, right? So all of a sudden we're making our reds turn to orange or yellow, and our yellows are turning to green and blues, right? That's the goal, right? Our goal is to close that gap and have as many of our students proficient in math by the end of the school year. So the data shows that that as of mid-year, we're about 36-ish percentage points of our students were on or above, or we're demonstrating proficiency. So that means they were at 3, 4, or 5, about 36%. That number is pretty alarming to me, but we know that these are new standards, right? These are standards that are delivered in a little bit different manner than they were in years past, okay? So the good news is that at 36%, we're pretty consistent. We're above maybe other schools that are in our learning community. So we're trending in the right direction. I'm encouraged. We've kind of, I guess we could just describe it as we've kind of reinvented the way a little bit that we're planning for math. We're being a little more strategic, even more so than we were before, in the way that we're planning with teachers. Our coaches are leading planning sessions to make sure that they have all the tools they need to be successful. So at 36%, it's low. It looks a little bleak. Don't worry. I feel like we're in a good spot. It's comparative to other schools like our school. And so does anybody remember what our school proficiency goal is for math? So because ours always knows this, because ours is always the first one to answer. So our proficiency goal for the year is 70%. And we're going to take the math PMA, the final PMA, PMA 3, the FAST assessment, like May, the first week of May, first or second week of May. So we have a lot of time, all right? All right, moving over to ELA, and I'll go through this a little bit quicker. So ELA is different than math, like I said, because the way they structure the delivery of the content is that the students see all the ELA standards. So they see all the content in the first half of the year, right? Different than math. They see all the content in the first half of the year, and then they see it again in the second half of the year. So we call it like the standard spiral, right? They come back around again. So these numbers are a little more representative of like a student general understanding of all the content because they've seen all the standards, right? So our goal is that they go even deeper into the standard, maybe with higher levels of complexity or intensity in the second half of the year. All right, so you can see that we closed all our numbers, right? But we also came out with a higher level of performance from PM1 to PM2. And I'll tell you right now, we're sitting at 60% proficiency in ELA in grades 3 through 5. Our goal is what for ELA proficiency school-wide? Great job, Ms. Kazar. 70%. All right, so if we're saying that right now, middle of the year, they've seen all this data, that we're already at 60%, they're going to see all this content again in the second half of the year. And I'm very confident that we're not only going to meet 70%, but we're going to surpass it. You know, I can see us closer to 75 or even higher. So some really exciting news on the data front. But we are addressing some of those kiddos who are low right now. We're doing specific interventions. They're being pulled out. There are specific strategies we're taking within the classroom. We're adjusting our approach a little bit, and just really trying to find time throughout the day to address those needs. Okay.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, you may, Ms. Blair.
And for our fifth graders, it's one of the contingencies for selection of electives for middle school. They must have a 3, 4, or 5 in order to get their electives. If they get a 1 or a 2, it's not the only factor, but it's a big factor in when the counselors schedule the students. They would get a remedial reading class if their score is a 1 or 2 in ELA for FAST, for example. So they do take into consideration other factors, but this is a big one according to our middle school counselors who come to with our fifth graders. So although that's fifth grade, it's really important for our third, fourth, and fifth graders to understand that. So they build up their stamina, their proficiency, so it doesn't just hit them when they don't get their electives. And it's the first time they get to choose classes too. So it's a really big deal. Anyway.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, and this is like very apparent, very a good segue into this, that middle schools have started to come visit, right? We have Hunters Creek here.
Yes, and Meadowwood's coming on.
Yeah, so we have Meadowwood. So like our school is interesting. So we cycled down, I think we have 3 feeder middle schools, Hunters Creek Middle School, Hunters Creek, Meadowwoods, and Freedom, right? Southwood. Well, I'm way off. I'm sorry, Ms. Blair.
60 of our kids will go to Hunters Creek, 49 are scheduled to go to Meadowwood as of right now. So we have 2 feeder schools.
Wow.
2 of our students were scheduled to go to Southwood. So
Okay.
we really have 2 distinct.
Perfect. So what Blair's talking about, like if they don't perform, and this should add stress, but it's important that you're aware, if they're not performing at a proficient level, 3, 4, or 5, and if they score a 1 or 2, then they could find themselves like losing out on some electives, like whether it be like music or agriculture or whatever they have there, because they have some of these intensive blocks. So you might have like 2 math classes or 2 reading classes. So, all right, next slide could be science. All right, I'm gonna fly through this, but it's important that we highlight this, okay? So this is something that we've really focused on the last couple of years, especially since I've been here, is teaching science throughout the school, kindergarten through 5th grade, right? So last year at this time in the first PMA, 21-22, taken, I don't know, when did we take the first PMA, Matt? Or the first PM?
Man, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It was, you know what it was? It was right after the first quarter because it's assessing
So
first
like in
quarter
October.
material. Yeah. Yeah.
So we were 66% proficient based on the content and this one isn't like a year long, but this is just content that they had been taught already, right? 66% of our students last year were considered proficient. This year, we jumped up on this assessment to 71%. That's a 5-point growth. Fantastic, right? All right. This year, so on PM2, which is the one we took soon got back from break, we talked about this a little bit before in the December meeting as we were getting ready, is last year we were at 55%. We came back from break. This year, I'm saying it's 74%, right? And maybe even it's a little bit higher now that they've adjusted some of the cut scores. So listen, we are at 75% proficient. We go to these meetings. other principals, like my boss has asked us like what we're doing in science, why is your science data? Because our science data is like noticeably like staggeringly higher than other schools. Staggeringly, I think I just didn't matter the word, but listen, we're rocking and rolling. We're rocking and rolling in ELA. We're rocking and rolling in science, and math is an area that we know is a deficiency. That's a reason it's a part of our school improvement plan that we talked about at the start of the school year. So listen, overall, data is trending in a great way. Our goal is to be an A school. It should be our teachers' goal, and I know it is. They're working so hard. Like our teachers are attending more plannings and trainings than probably they have in a while. And I appreciate their, perseverance. So we're working hard. So anybody have any questions on the data? No? All right, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to be quiet, is next year, and I'm not going to go through each one of these bullet points, but next year, and this is something that I had at a school I was at previously, we had a two-way dual language class, right? And if you don't know about this model, man, it's an amazing model. So the way it works is based on cohorts, right? And so what we're going to do next year, we haven't really decided we haven't cleared up all the details yet. Miss Zupa's helping me spearhead this initiative. Is we're either going to start with a pre-K or a kindergarten cohort, and man, so what it is, it's a two-way dual English class, and so the district will support you in what language you want to bring. We have a need because we're 60-ish% Hispanic, right? So we're going to bring a Spanish, English, two-way dual language program to the school next year. And I'm super excited. You might know Hunters Creek has a magnet for this program. We're not going to be a magnet. We're not taking students who aren't zoned for us. We'll take care of our own kiddos here. So it'll probably be 18 and 18. So it'll be about 36 kids in total. And it's not just students who speak Spanish primarily. It's a mix, and I think I should put that whole. It's a balanced number of English, native English, and native Spanish speakers. And the Spanish portion in the morning to one class, all right. And Ms. Torres simultaneously would be teaching the English portion, all right, in different content areas. And we would flip flop halfway through the day, and then I would take the kids who she had English in the morning, and I would teach Spanish. And it's full immersion, right? Like so, it could be kids who only speak English or kids who only speak Spanish. And it's really just it's a heterogeneous mix of those students. I'm super excited. It's going to be awesome. I expect to have a lot of input. In our next meeting, we're going to talk about more details of the process and what it looks like. So I'm really excited to bring that to Endeavor. It's going to be fun. All right. Anybody have any questions? All right, that's all I have.
Just really quick, we do have the family survey that is open. No, it's okay. We do have the family survey that is open. I know Mr. Nappins has sent out a Connect Ed about it, and then OCPS has been sending emails about it. What this survey is just collecting input from our stakeholders, including families, teachers, and then what's the third group?
All the students.
All the students, the student input as well. So these are customized links based on which part of the stakeholder group you are with. And we do need everybody's feedback. So we do have a link to the OCPS families that we can post onto Class Dojo for everybody. But if you log on and visit the Endeavor website, there is a link right up on top where the arrow is. So right on the homepage, you could click and access the survey. They are looking for about 80% completion by every single party. So
right now we have 20 families who've done it. 20 out of 578. We need at least, I think, 20% for families. Yeah, so families, we need 20%. Right now we're at 3%. So if you can spread the word to your friends or family, the easiest way to do it, if you didn't get the link, is just go on the school website, and it's right there. There's a picture of it. Tell us about your school. Tell us really good things about your school.
And staff would have gotten an additional.
Yep, staff got a separate email. Students are getting links from their teachers. So we do want to make sure that we do get everybody's input because it does drive the school improvement plan for the upcoming school year.
And students can access it from the laptops.
So if you could, we'll make sure that link ends up on Dojo so families can tune in. Speaking of the school improvement plan, as Mr. Nappin showed us the data with math,
There's a lot of components that we still need to hit. We're still learning and growing with these new standards. So Mr. Nappins has pushed out to all the teachers to continue to monitor iReady, a program that they are using in the classroom, whether it's in a center's rotation for individual work or as there are lessons that they can do as a class. And the goal is to complete at least 2 lessons per week in reading and math, but especially math, as we are really focusing on that for the school improvement plan. So they're trying to get 600 to 700 minutes by the end of the year. So we just want 45 minutes a week, all right? Whether it is in the classroom, which it should get completed in the classroom, but we know sometimes the students don't complete their work in the classroom just because they need extended time or something. So we want to make sure that they are reaching those minutes. And we have been getting updates from Mr. Nappins to the staff. And so I have included our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade data as to how many students are completing the work, because we are monitoring it, because as you see, it is a school improvement plan goal. So we want to make sure that we are on top of it, because we want to make sure we do well. We are also continuing to work on that school improvement plan. The 3rd goal, which is about building a great culture and environment. All students now, except the ones who have just been enrolled, have been inducted into their Gator houses, kindergarten through 5th grade. There is a new student induction taking place next month. So all of our navigators who are new to the school will also be able to pick a stone and be able to work within their houses, building a great culture here at Endeavor. Ms. Cahow has been selling house shirts up in front of the school on Friday mornings, beginning at 8:15. They are $5 cash only. So if you do need a new house shirt for your navigator, Friday morning, come on up to the front of the school. You can park your car, and then you can help make sure you can pick up different sizes and make sure that your navigator can rep their house shirt on Wednesdays. Just community involvement in school-wide events that took place in January. We did have that kindergarten house induction. We did have a long Wednesday, which we are theming our long Wednesdays for Hurricane Makeup Days, just to make them a little bit more fun. So I don't know if you saw in Class Dojo, Miss Geraldo's class, the superhero class, all came out together, took a fabulous photo, and just walking around the school, seeing all of our different superheroes working hard in class. Book club continues to meet every other week, going over our Sunshine State books. And then we do have some students preparing for Battle of the Books. 5th grade did take that 2nd science PMA, as Mr. Nappins did go over the data with everybody. And currently, right now, we are in access testing for our English language learners. This is where we are checking in on their reading, writing, and listening, speaking and listening proficiency, just to check, because we do want to make sure that our English language learners are learning, growing, and getting the support that they need. And it's also Literacy Week. Today's the day where we wanted to wear shirts with words on it. And Literacy Week is going to continue throughout the rest of the week. A little PTA update. PTA wanted to say thank you to all of our volunteers who worked in the holiday shop right before the holiday break. They were able to sell a lot of fun items. The students really loved the little egg pieces. I don't know, they loved them. But with PTA, we would love to see everybody at Burger Fight tonight for our Spirit Night from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So those tuning in at home, you can run over to Burger Fight for lunch and come back for dinner if you want. Just be sure that you turn in your receipt. That way, a portion of the sales from tonight do go back into Endeavor PTA so that it can in turn be used for our students and staff here at Endeavor. The Sun event is taking place on February 11th, and the Daughter Dance is taking place February 17th, with more information of the Daughter Dance to come out soon. But they are going to need volunteers. So feel free to reach out to PTA. Their contact information is on Instagram. It's been on Facebook, but also Class Dojo. If you want to reach out and see how you can help. What's next? We're gonna be very busy leading up into our next SAC meeting. We do have two long Wednesdays. All right, we do have 2 long Wednesdays for the month of February. The first one taking place next Wednesday, which happens to be the 100th day of school. So we're gonna have everybody show their spirit. You can show up, dressed up as a 100-year-old person. Baby powder in your hair, gray hair, glasses. Let's see some moo-moos, and just looking very handsome. Spring Picture Day is taking place on February 3rd. This is the class picture day. So this is where the whole entire class will be photographed together for the yearbook, along with individual pictures only for those who prepay. So if you do want to have a spring individual photo, please make sure you prepay. Information has also been posted on Class Dojo about that. We have the mass hearing screening coming up, where our students will go in, get their ears, make sure that they can hear out of both of them. We got National School Counselor Week coming up, so we can celebrate Miss Blair. We have our OCPS Elementary Music All County event coming up, the new student house induction. February 15th, we'll do a Western themed long Wednesday, along with continuing our FSAA performance tasks for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So we will be pretty busy moving forward. And then we do want to see if I want to pause. Any questions, comments, concerns? Because I know I just went through a lot. Checking online.
We're on fire doors.
Yeah. All right. And I wanted to put this out there because I would love to bring this up and put it on the agenda for our February meeting. Currently in our the SAC budget line, we currently have $3,249.54 that we can use for either staff, students. So we could use that money similar to last year, where we worked together as a committee and created SAC grants for teachers and staff to apply for money to use in their classrooms. Or collectively, if there's something that you feel like, what could we use that money for that could really improve our math scores? What can we do maybe as an incentive for students continuing to work hard, show growth? So wanted to get that back of your mind. Think on it, because we would love some input at our next meeting of ways and resources we could spend these funds on. The way we get the money is if we are an A school, we get A school recognition funds. Staff can vote to have money put in to the SAC budget line so that we can spend it on students. So a portion goes back to the students. But also over the summer, classroom teachers get a teacher debit card for about $300 in supplies. At the end of the year, teachers have to submit the receipts for the funds that they use and the items that they purchased for their classroom. And any funds that were not spent rolls over into our account. So we were able to build back up some funds, getting back up higher than where we were at the end of last year. Because last year we had about $3,100 before we did SAC grants. So we've got some money to spend. So we do want to work together collectively of how we want to use that money. Any questions? Just keep checking online.
That was a perfect description of this money. Thank you, Taurus. Yeah, we did some awesome things last year. Some teachers did some cool things in their classroom. Spent thousands of dollars, which the money needs to be spent, right? I mean, it's not something that, the money is generated by kids and the way kids perform and things that teachers are doing. So it's important that we spend that money on kids or the school, whatever. The goal is, and Taurus did a fantastic job, like that money has to be spent in a way that aligns with the school improvement plan, right? And we have 3 goals for a school improvement plan. Professional learning communities, math, and essentially like school morale. I can't remember the exact wording of the last one. So we can make it work for any type of, I shouldn't say any, but like for a lot of like ideas we could do, whether it be campus beautification, things that like a project in a school, but then we as a team, right, the committee, gets to decide on that. So it's exciting. We did a lot of really cool things last year. I remember Mr. Bench helped us out, was instrumental in helping us kind of define what the SAC grant was going to look like, and so something to think about before we meet in February. So that was great. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about anything we talked about? A lot of stuff. Yeah.
When is our meeting?
February is
February 22nd, the last Wednesday of February.
And you guys know this is an open meeting, so although in order for it to be an official meeting, we need to have 50 quorum, so more than 50% of our committee members. But anybody can come to this, like anybody is welcome. So they can ask questions.
And they can ask questions, they can give input. So anybody who's watching online at home, you also can give us your input of how you would like these funds to be spent. It would just be the voting members of SAC would be the final say of like yay or nay. But anybody is welcome. We encourage you to come and give your input because this is for your students.
Yeah.
So with that, I motion to wrap it up and I motion to end the meeting.
I second that.
Thank you all so much.
All right, January meeting. Thank you.
See
I'll
you
stick
February
around if you have questions.
22nd.
It was awesome. That would have been, end of the year science fest. It would have been like a 4 out of 5. Yeah, so really good stuff. He's cranking it up. Yeah, he's cranking out science. It's not a worry for that. For sure.
Yeah.
He's cranking it out. Yeah, he's strong.